Hey, it's good to see you. Hello, and welcome to this video. In tonight's video, I am going to be giving an update of my tarot deck collection. I have 4 tarot decks to share with you tonight, and 2 oracle decks. I've been sharing my deck collection for a while now. I think maybe my first video in this series was, if I had to guess, back in 2018. And the collection's always in flux. It changes. I gift some of my decks. I sell some. I bring some new ones in. Yada yada. And so I think the most recent update I made was last summer. I did like a full deck collection video. It was complete. It was entirely updated with all the decks I have. And so now I'm just adding a little bit to that, since those videos are still pretty accurate representations of my collection. My collection has been feeling more, settled these days. I'm very slow to bring new decks into my collection now. And so these 6 decks, it may sound like a lot to bring 6 decks in over the course of a year, but for me, that's not that much, especially considering, again, that the collection ebbs and flows. So yeah, this is what's new. It's definitely slowed down, and it's definitely solidifying. There's nothing else really that I want to bring in at this time, for example. But I've been rambling enough in this intro now, so let's finally get started. The first deck I want to share with you tonight is this very big one. This is Taro as Color by an artist named, I think you say it, Aithel Kukun. She made the artwork that I'll show you on the fronts momentarily through pouring enamel. This is what the backs look like. I don't love the backs, I have to say. I'm not a fan of this taupey color. But it hardly matters because the cards are so beautiful. So, like I said, this artwork was made by pouring enamel and seeing what shapes and figures emerged. There are some color correspondences to the suits, like you'll see a lot of red in the disc suit. All the aces have sort of spotted backgrounds like that. I use this deck in my pick a pile reading for the new year. I love this card. This is the Queen of Wands. So beautiful. And yeah, I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Because the cards are so big, I don't use it for very in-depth spreads. I tend to use it more sparingly. Cards just take up a lot of space. So they're good for setting a theme for the spread, some kind of unifying concept. Maximum, I'll use 3 in a reading. I think any more than that, it gets a little harder to pull out the message. Because not only are these very big tarot cards, but they are also very abstract, as you can see. So here's another ace with that kind of Dalmatian-like background. So just for the sake of finding meaning and kind of harnessing the power of these cards, I think it's best to use 1, 2, or 3 in a reading, but really no more. They're beautiful cards also to meditate on, and I also like to use them for display. Like if I want to think about a card over a period of time, putting one of these on my bookshelf and just contemplating it here and there as I pass it, as I look at it. I really like that as a practice as well. Next we have the Klimt Tarot. The backs look like this. And I edged this one with a dark gray marker. So it's basically black, but just a little softer, a little warmer than black. I think it looks really nice. I don't edge many decks. I don't really have the time, but also I don't want to edge decks unless I'm okay with making mistakes. So for example, this, as you can see, has a black border. So it was easy to edge with a dark colored marker because any bleed I would get over on the front or the backs of the cards would be disguised by the black frame there. Plus, this is a mass market deck, so it's not too expensive. I think this deck is absolutely gorgeous. It has gold foiling, as you can see. And Klimt is one of my favorite artists, especially when I was younger. I love this. 10 of coins. Especially when I was younger, in high school, painting and art class. Like, I was just so inspired by his work. So I've been drawn to this deck for a while, and because it's mass market, I decided to finally pick it up. I really like reading with it. Oh yeah, this is like one of my favorite Queen of Coins, Queen of Pentacles, there we go, Queen of Pentacles, in my whole collection probably. Anyway, I've always felt really inspired by his work. This deck is also very intense. I've removed a lot of cards for this video. A lot of the imagery is very anatomically correct, also very anatomically severe. There are figures in this deck that look like they've been through famine, and really difficult times. sorrowful times even, and so I removed the cards that had nudity or, well, really that, but also that felt too intense. But you can see how beautiful it is, how the cards catch the light. It's so beautiful. But I did just want to point out to you that there are other cards in this deck that are much more severe, and as such, I'm not able to read with this deck all the time because of its tone, because of the world in which these figures live or exist. It's a very harsh world, a very unforgiving world. So it's a good deck for winter months, for darker days, for darker readings, readings that aren't, thematically or like in terms of your intention or the querent's question, aren't going to shy away from the harder aspects of life. So I'm very glad that I have it. Okay, next up is this deck called L'Étoile Cachée. You can see that the ink has like a slight silver sheen to it, I hope. And it's on matte black cardstock, which makes really lovely sounds. It's quite thick, and you can hear, what the cardstock is like. So, this is what the backs look like. This is a Marseille style deck by an artist, the same artist who did Symbolic Soul, I think it's called. That's a mass market deck by the same artist. This one was published by Savat magazine as a limited edition deck. I didn't know about it until it was already out of print, so I just had made peace with not being able to get it. But then I saw a copy for sale on eBay for a very reasonable price. I was really surprised. Probably like $10 less than it would have cost, $10 or $20 less than it would have cost if I had bought it firsthand. And it was in excellent condition. So I felt very lucky to have found it. I imagine the previous owner just didn't connect with it. It is very strange, as you can see. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but the way that this ink catches the light is really beautiful. It's really nice to do readings in candlelight with this one. And yeah, the cardstock is pretty for just being like art paper or something. It's very firm, which is nice. Here's the Queen of Cups, for example. She is so pretty. And I didn't know it until I was reading this other book, or reading a book by Pam Grossman, but Pam Grossman is the one who wrote the guidebook for this. It's quite a good guidebook. So like this, 6 of coins, really beautiful design. And like here we have, I don't know if they're margaritas, but drinks with limes in them, lotus flowers. There's some references to cryptocurrency in here. I don't know, like Mai Tais or something. So there are modern aspects to this deck. And also, there's a timelessness to it because the humanoid figures in this deck. Almost seem part android, part the hermit's like a crone. Part robot, part android. Wow, I have never noticed this card before. The Queen of Coins, Queen of Pentacles. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. Here's a purse, somewhat modern. Here's a credit card, yeah. Yeah, I keep getting distracted. This deck is so good. So there are modern elements in here, and then also the figures, as I was saying, kind of look sort of robotic, sort of like almost like demigods in some cases, like aliens, and they're very odd, so it feels modern and timeless at the same time. It's like futuristic, but then the limited color palette makes it timeless again. Here's some megaphones. I've also noticed in this deck a lot of like, you know, reproductive imagery, which is interesting. The Four of Cups is 4 mugs of tea. It's interesting. It has come up a lot in my readings with this deck, this idea of reproduction, we'll say, which I just find interesting and unusual. Don't usually see that theme so intentionally repeated throughout a deck. So anyway, this is L'Étoile Cachée. Next, I have one of the Oracle decks. This is one of two. They're a pair. So this is the Hanabi-shi Oracle deck. You can find this on Etsy. I believe the artist's name is Susie Grossman. But the names of all these will be in the description. Should have said that before, but I'm sure you assumed. So this is what the backs look like. And this is an Oracle deck featuring imagery from old fireworks catalogs from Japan. So as you can see, it's an image and a number, and you really have to read them intuitively more than anything. The guidebook is very slight, but I think that's okay. I think she did a good job with it. It gives you a few different keywords for how to read the image, and then of course you can make up your own. Like some of the keywords might be elegance, a message, good luck, dispersion, solitude, completion, things like that. So I got this deck semi-recently. I've been wanting it for ages, but I just hadn't yet prioritized picking it up. But it's really lovely. I have enjoyed the readings I've done with it so far. I feel like for being so cryptic looking, kind of forcing intuitive readings, unless you want to pull out the guidebook each time. Given all that, it reads really easily, actually. I find it easy to come up with a keyword or a message from each of these cards, and I've really been enjoying it so far. I'm just gonna show you its sister now. So this is the sister deck. The previous version was the night version, and then this is the day version, as you'll see. So these cards, like this one would be luck. This could be anger or danger, celebration, for example, return. You know, you can assign your own keywords, look at the guidebook, or just interpret them on the fly. This is like a very silly looking horse. So yes, these ones tend to have more, like they're more likely to have a central figure, an animal sometimes in the center, or kind of colored cloud. But some of them do have more of the spangly, flower-like fireworks as well. Some fish. These images are in the public domain. So the artist went through what was available and curated a selection and cleaned up the images, just making sure the colors would pop and that everything looked uniform. And I think she did a great job. She's really lovely too. I had some questions for her and she was very responsive when I messaged her. Some butterflies, a musician. So yeah, it feels very Japanese to me as a deck. From the images on the front, the backs, to the simplicity of the design, just a simple identifying number at the bottom. So there you have it. And then the final deck tonight is another tarot deck. This one is Marseille style. This is the Cowgirl Tarot by Gentle Thrills, or Isa Bennington, I think her name is. Again, all the information will be down below. With this doofy looking dog on the back. This is her dog, like a cartoon of her own dog, who I believe is named Cowgirl. So this is, I wanted to point out too, like quite a chunky deck. And the cardstock is thick and feels really luxe, I would say. How cute. So I saw this deck. I really liked it. I thought it was adorable. But I was like, I don't need like a cute deck, you know? I just don't need it. But then But then I saw Kitty Whispers ASMR use it on her channel. I think she just showed it, but then she's also used it for a reading or two here or there. Which, by the way, if you're not familiar with her channel, oh my god, Queen of Coins. I love it. Her channel's excellent. She reads a lot. She's so smart and thoughtful about life, about consumption, about what she shares, and the sun. She's having a good day. And I just love her channel. Anyway, so seeing her use this deck, I was just like, no, you know what? I need to get it. It's for an indie deck. It's really reasonably priced. And I do love it. I don't have nearly enough cute decks. I and I don't need more. But I would say maybe I have like 2 cute decks. I would even just say 1, maybe 1 or 2, but they're like cute, spooky, and you know, like hands with like bones showing. Cute, quote unquote cute. Whereas this is straight up cute. I love dogs. I love this dog in particular. Like, I can't get over these faces. And so, yeah, so I picked it up. And I have no regrets. Strength. The dog is holding the pigeon's mouth open. Adorable. And I really like her playfulness with the form of this, the artist's playfulness. Like, the 9 of coins is a scratch off card. It comes with a fold out poster that gives you 1-line meanings for each of the cards, which are kind of the artist's own interpretation as well, which I find very helpful. A lot of these cards are easy to read, but then mostly with the sword suit and sometimes the hearts, I maybe just haven't used the deck enough to have built my own understanding of each card. But the sword suit and the hearts suit can be a little difficult for me to access at first glance. The sword suit has a kind of story to it. Here's the 2 of hearts, super cute. And yeah, I think that's part of why I just need to work with this deck more. Ace of Hearts. Really, really, really cute. Oh my goodness. Just need to work with it more. And then I will be able to read with it a little more fluidly. Like, at the moment, I read with it well, but I would only read with this for myself. I'm not yet familiar enough to use it in like a reading with a friend or with a stranger or anything like that. But I am really, really enjoying it. So this is the Cowgirl Tarot. So that is all that I have to share with you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you are doing super, super, super well. And if you're not, that is okay too. I will talk to you very soon. And until then, good night. Good night.